belief, a feeling of certainty that something should happen a certain way. So when you're on the road and you notice yourself, the two of you, having road rage, what's the belief that you're telling yourself that's turning into road rage? People need to stay out of my way. Or is that what you say too? People should be driving faster, right? It always, this word showed up again. Something should happen a certain way. I have this belief my cats and dogs, if I have them, should not poop on my sofa, my couch. It's a good belief. They should not do their business on our furniture. Or I also have a belief that when I'm meditating, my kids should not be playing the piano. Right? That's just a belief, it's just a rule. There's no cosmic law that says people should drive fast on the freeways or get out of my way. There's no cosmic rule, there's no universal rule that says dogs and cats shouldn't poop on my couch or that my kids should not play the piano while I'm meditating. It's just a rule that I've made up about how I think things ought to be. With me? Because the instant that rule is broken, what's the resulting emotion? You get anger. Road rage, in your case. Or, I want to kill my animal. Or, you know, I get upset at my kid. Any time but these 10 minutes, come on. So there's two ways that I know of, unless you want to stay with road rage. But I want to be peaceful most of the time. I want to be happy and peaceful. So I realized I've got to do something with this right here, this rule. And so what can we do? We can change the first thing we can do is we can change our rule. Now this might seem like, well, I can't change my rules. People should drive faster. But how could you do it if you wanted to? What could you say? What could be a different rule besides people need to drive faster on the freeway? Yeah. Your rule is, I'll get there when I get there. And I can't change people's behavior. Or, I can't affect how fast people are going on the road. I can't do anything. No matter how mad I get, there's nothing I can do. So what I hear you saying is, I'm going to reinterpret the situation. They call this, in psychology, they call it cognitive restructuring, where you think about it in a different way, one that doesn't include this should there. I have one. It isn't so much the slow guys, although I'm not fond of people driving slow on the freeway either. When I go down to St. George, we go down south quite a bit, and my thinking is everybody should be driving 100 miles an hour. That's just how fast our cars are capable of driving that, and there's nobody within 2 miles of you. Cognitive restructuring. Now, when I'm driving in traffic that is quite messy, quite busy, sometimes these guys come through, and it's always a guy. I don't know for sure if it's always a guy, but it's always a guy, and he's always in a Camaro or a Mustang or something, and he just flies by 120 miles an hour, and the rest of us are going 75. And in that instant, I find myself going, God, what he's doing, you know, like crazy guy. How could I reinterpret that so that I don't get the least bit upset? Here's what I have done. The way that I say it is, the way I interpret it, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not, doesn't matter at all. I say, that guy's wife is in the back seat and she's going to have a baby. in 5 minutes. And if she doesn't get to the hospital, then the baby's going to come out in the car. And that would be a tragedy for that baby and the mom. So go as fast as you can. And a little bit for the owner of the car. Do you see what I've just done? Now, it's obviously it's not true. There's never a baby in the back seat being born. But that's what I say to myself. That doesn't include people shouldn't drive fast. I say, go ahead. There's probably a good reason. And what happens then is I stay peaceful. I stay happy. And that to me is more important than trying to make the other person wrong. Idiot driver, why can't you drive faster? Do you see how that works? All we have to do is take control of this little thought here that is the should and upgrade it to what I call a preference. I prefer that people didn't drive fast, and I can't control them. The thing was upgrade your demands to a preference. That's how I would say, in answer to your question, how do I just allow things? You upgrade your demand. In other words, instead of saying, this should happen, we say, I'd prefer this happen, and that leaves flexibility for how you decide to feel. Can you feel that? I'd prefer things happen this way. Because you do. You want people to drive fast on the freeway. I prefer that. And I don't have control about how fast things are going today. And that, if that's the thought that we have, then we stay peaceful.